Is Gurgaon in a bubble territory according to you?
Certain regions स्पेशली प्लांट करते हैं, उनको सूट करता है ये बबल वाला क्वेश्चन. वो अपना नहीं देखते. आप मुंबई देख लीजिए, आप अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर देख लीजिए और कंस्ट्रक्शन देख लीजिए, कोई मिसमैच देखिए. आप प्राइस पॉइंट्स देख लो कंपेयर टू व्हाट द सोशल एंड अदर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स आर, बट कोई उसको क्वेश्चन ही नहीं करता.
Do you think Gurgaon can beat Mumbai in terms of home prices?
I hate to break the bad news to you, but it already has.
Gurgaon is slowly becoming unaffordable. I get that vibe of Gurgaon in 23-24, what Mumbai was in 2012-2013.
Price rises cannot sustain if the resultant infrastructure is not comparable to or the aspirations are not met. आप कितनी कहानी दे सकते हो, कितना फैफ कर लोगे?
Did you ever think that Camellias could become India's most expensive project?
I didn't think at that point in time that Camellias will become the identity of real estate for the entire country.
How important are women in the decision-making process for ultra HNI deals?
Women are first-class citizens everywhere.
ये जो 100 करोड़ 200 करोड़ के जो ट्रांजैक्शंस होते हैं, ये डील्स क्लोज करने में कितना टाइम लगता है?
ट्रांजैक्शंस या तो एक डील में होती हैं, एक मीटिंग में, या मैक्सिमम 21 दिन के अंदर.
How much does a typical salesperson at DLF make?
1 crore plus
In bonus.
just bonus alone.
If I can call it the apple of real estate.
In hindsight, do you think that was a wrong call to leave Mumbai when you sold that giant land parcel at Lower Parel to Lodha?
Then the priorities were different. DLF acted in its best interest at that point in time.
What would you say is the big challenge for DLF in Mumbai?
There will be forces, there will be people wanting to bring you down, there will be a lot of stories.
Do you think in Mumbai you could do a 1.5 lakhs, 1.75 lakh rupees per square feet? Golf course view of Gurgaon is equal to sea facing view in Mumbai.
So I've done it in the golf course. Now you put whatever numbers you want to put because you're Mumbai.
In today's episode of The Real Deal, I'll be talking to India's most expensive builder, DLF, the company that built a whole city by itself, Gurgaon. Joining me today is Aakash Ohri, the man who runs the show at the company, on how he sells these expensive homes, and now, as he enters Mumbai, can he conquer the great Indian city? Let's hear him out. So thank you, Aakash, for coming on The Real Deal. I think for media people, it's very common to say that I've got a very special guest. But I think in the case of real estate and DLF, it probably merits it with a lot of seriousness, given the type of achievements DLF has done. The broad story about DLF and Gurgaon is known. Let's start first with you. When did you join DLF and how did you join it?
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. It's always good to talk to people. I joined DLF way back in 1998, and how I joined DLF was I was in a company called Sterling, who was also into golf, one part of their business, and I was seconded to Dubai. I just come back, and DLF was recruiting people, but primarily from ITC, the other golf business and others. So I was referred there, and that's how my journey began.
So did the big man, Mr. KP Singh, interview you, or was it through multiple senior people, but not him?
No, Mr. KP Singh was very particular because golf was his baby. So he had to interview everybody, and I was the junior most, and I was interviewed. He recently wrote about the interview in his new book, Why the Heck Not? And so the interview began, and I say this again, so that's the chairman of the board, and I'm the junior most, probably nothing. And the interview began where he had, in his mind, he was certain that he didn't want to hire me because I've come from a failed project. Okay, or a failing project or whatever. So he wanted people who were who understand the new golf business and everything else. So that interview lasted for over an hour, if not 1.5 hours, but definitely over an hour. And all this while he was throwing me off the track. He was constantly telling me why he should hire from such projects, and why, when he has the option of hiring the best, why will he not? And I kept telling him, I came my experiences of what I was doing and how well I did in Dubai and how well I did in India, and so on and so forth. By the end of it, I said, well, this isn't going anywhere. So I said, sir, may I ask you a question? He said, yeah, go ahead. So I said, in a train wreck, how can you blame a TT? So he said, what do you mean? I said, look, I was doing my job. I was collecting my revenue. I was doing my memberships. I was doing, my customer relationships. And I was doing everything that I was asked to do. And I was doing it very well. So should something else happen, how am I to be blamed? I think that resonated well with him. He first of all, I think he got a little startled because, why would somebody, as junior as me, have the courage to say that? But I think, knowing the man he is, he said, okay, thank you, I've had great conversation. And then we moved on. And 15 minutes later, I was told I was hired. So that was quite an experience. That was the beginning of the roller coaster.
So 15 minutes, job secured. Okay. So tell me when you
Not
joined.
15 minutes, 1 hour, over an hour of an interview. And then after that, after 15 minutes after that, when I was asked to wait, I was conveyed that, you're on.
So basically, you made your impact in that 1 hour. Tell me, Gurgaon, since the time you joined to now, how much has it changed?
Oh, Gurgaon has changed like what? I mean, there's a paradigm shift. I mean, there is a shift. I'm talking about 1998 when I used to live in Noida actually. And I did 2 years of travel back and forth from Noida to Gurgaon because my parents were in Noida and I didn't want to leave them. So we did this up and down. And I mean, for every bit of it, I kept hoping that my operations remain in Connaught Place, CP, where the head office was. And, a lot of people have seen Gurgaon much before me. But I've seen the transitions, I've seen the change, I've seen it, in fact, if I can draw a parallel, first time in 1997, when I landed in Dubai, and I'm talking about the Sheikh Zayed Road, there were just 10 buildings. So there was the World Trade Tower, and there on the right side, there was the Crown Plaza, and there were about 5-6 other buildings. On the left of it was complete desert, right up to the Hard Rock Cafe, and then Jebel Ali, and then the Abu Dhabi. And what it's transitioned to now, I draw a parallel, cut to Gurgaon. I've seen Gurgaon from 98 to now. I have seen changes. I call the Raghavinder Marg that DLF built as the Sheikh Zayed Road of Gurgaon, which has become the nerve center. And I have seen changes to a level where, and I also feel, I give a lot of credit to, of course, DLF has put this whole story together. But don't forget that DLF has put the story together for people. And it's the people who make places and companies and countries and cities, right? So it's a very eclectic mix of people.
For you at DLF, was there ever a phase that you felt that this was a bad bet I took in joining DLF? Just when DLF was going through that phase of heavy debt, things were tough. Was there ever a point where you felt DLF may not just survive?
When I joined DLF, and I joined DLF from Sterling. So Sterling was a membership that was for 3.5 lakh rupees for 90 years. And ITC was a membership, ITC Golf Club was a membership for, I think, the same amount, 3.5-4 lakh rupees for 99 years. And DLF came out with a membership for 5 lakhs for 5 years. So to answer your question, that's the time I felt, what have I got into? One kind of a failed attempt. And here, how am I going to justify being what I do? And these are two big developers, two big designers. So there was Greg Norman and there was Jack Nicklaus. So it's not that they're your peers, right? And Arnold Palmer. And I said, my God, what have I got myself into? There's no way anybody is going to buy this membership. Okay? Mustered up courage after a week again to ask the chairman. I said, sir, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, and why? So he says, look, whatever I do, I'm going to do better than the best. Whatever I do is going to be quality. And therefore, I will do my best for the consumer, for the customer. It is for them to see value into my propositions. So that's the only time I had doubt. As you move along in this journey, so in relationships, you have to understand everything can't be a one-way or a financial benefit. That today you're in doldrums, so jump ship, abandon project, get on to doing something else. When things get better, come back or say bye-bye. It doesn't work that way. You have to understand if an organization has given you that identity, you have to be there for the thick and the thin, okay? And I think a lot of us have demonstrated it the same way. So These are things where, yes, there were challenges, but at that point in time, I was not handling that part of the business. So maybe I was insulated to a reasonable extent. But when I actually did get into it in 2014, into the actual hardcore real estate, and I had no baggage of real estate, so therefore I was in a way fearless. I didn't know, and I didn't want to know the past. So
Is it easy to understand residential real estate as an outsider when you just get in?
see, it can be as difficult as you want it to be, but talk to your customer. It's that easy. You are doing a business for them, right? You are building a home for them. See, again, I say to people, it's not about numbers. Everybody says, oh my God, 100, 190, 200, this 100, that 100, this crore. I say, what about the emotions of the family that lives there? What are they thinking? How are they enjoying that feel? Is it their home? What is most important to them? You ask a housewife, she'll tell you, oh, you know what? My maid hasn't come today. That's the biggest problem. The country is grappling with some crisis, but for her, please look at her crisis. The maid hasn't come in the morning. How will she go to work? You understand? So, I mean, you have to talk to your customer. Your customer will tell you where the pain points are. And if you can address them, and if you can address them as you go along, it's a great journey. You want to keep shoving everything under the carpet. You want to say that you know it all and you want to hell with the thing. No feedback required. I know what I'm doing. Great. But work for the customer. Yes, definitely do things that are better for them. Initially, maybe they don't understand. But going forward, I'm sure people will.
You mentioned about the 190 crores transaction. On a per square feet basis, that's the most expensive in India. Right. Tell me, hand on heart, when we met in 2021, after I saw the clubhouse of Camellias, did you ever think, even then when it was built, that Camellias could become India's most expensive project?
Well,
beating even projects of Mumbai.
So again, as I said to you earlier, I didn't think at that point in time that Camellias will become what it has become today. I say it with utmost gratitude to what it has become today. It's become the identity of real estate for the entire country. India's real estate today in the world is known as and for or by Camellias. I say it as I wear the Indian hat today and I'm very proud of it. Okay, so that's Camellias for you. But as we were building that journey, we knew we were going to create something very, very different, very spectacular, very outlandish, but at the same time, a home for people, okay? A home that people want. But what we threw in while building that home was obviously the luxuries, not of the brick and mortar, but luxuries of your time. We threw in services that free your time for your family and your work. And that is what resonated well with everybody else. Forget the lavishness of the club and everything else. But just a chef on call where the lady of the house is always paranoid as to what she's going to make and how she's going to get this party over. And you and your family enjoy that party the least. Here we created a system where all she or he needs to do is pick up the phone, speak to the F&B manager, and we have a catering division that takes over every aspect of your party for that evening. You want Jain food, you want Spanish, you want Italian, you want Indian. We've got and we've hired the best in the hospitality business to deliver that. Now that is what I feel is luxury. And so many other things that I can talk about. So to your point, did we think that no? At that point in time, no. But we had our milestones. We knew that we are going to take up the price. Were we competing with Mumbai then? Absolutely not. We were competing with ourselves. We had to first establish ourselves. We had to first convince our own customers that this is the best for them to leave farmhouses, for them to leave independent living and come into the Camellias. That was the biggest challenge at that point in time. Price was the last.
How do you address that? Somebody who used to saying, "Mere khud ki zameen chahiye, ghar chahiye," and you're putting me along with so many other residents. That's a common trait I've noticed when I talk to many NCR buyers. Khud ki zameen chahiye.
Used to happen. If you'd asked them this question literally 10 years back, it was a big no-no. As you moved on, see, a lot of people today, what is luxury for people today? Luxury is security. Okay? Luxury is staying on a golf course. Luxury is breathing on a golf course and two forests around it where you have millions of trees to you can could breathe whatever best air that you can other than the overall pollution. Luxury is literally stepping down into the most luxurious spas that the world has. Luxury is stepping down and actually running your office from the club or doing your conferences and calls from the club worldwide. And I have very many chairmen do that today. Luxury is, of course, space. Of course, your privacy. You want to mingle, great. You don't want to mingle, even better. Luxury is the practical Facebook of what you want to be. You have in person, you have the likes of your own kind of clan where you are learning from the others, how they have been successful and what they are doing, and people open up when they're in a private residence. They are far more less guarded, and these are people who are running multi-billion-dollar companies. Luxury is to be living in that energy. Okay.
How do you deal? Do these guys look at luxury very differently? These multi-billion-dollar running CEOs, promoters, is there a constant ego pandering that needs to happen to these sort of buyers?
No, actually, in fact, to the reverse. When you are it's like if you are in a community of successful people, okay? Obviously, some people will be different than the others, but most of them, actually, places like these ground them a lot. It's a great leveler. You think before this, you come in with all your thing, oh my God, I've got this. And suddenly you see your right neighbor is, maybe 10 times what you are, and your left neighbor is been there, done that like some 100 times, and you say, my God, what have I achieved in life? It's a great leveler. It kind of settles you down. It kind of opens you up. I feel it's a different way of looking at it,
So basically, a farmhouse would be like a private jet, while these community livings like Camellias would be like the first class of a airline. That's how you would segment it?
Farmhouse will be, now they are passé. I won't call them the private jets. So again, farmhouses, not taking away from that, it's a great thing. Look at the colossal work that a farmhouse requires. I had another anecdote I'll give you. There's a couple who came to see me, and they were all, the gentleman was gloating about his farmhouse, about the peacock, about the greens, about, when he comes back, he's just, it's nothing better than anything else in life. And he has some 40 staff, and he's got this, The wife kept listening for 15 minutes. She says, Aakash, good luck to him. But I'm the glorified estate manager. The pipe breaks, the gardener doesn't come, the driver's not there. Ultimately, everything piles onto me, and I've had enough. I don't want to be. So she says, well, good luck to him. He can stay in his whatever palace, but you get me a place here. I'm going to move in. Again, I say to you that what happened.
How important are women in the decision-making process for ultra HNI deals?
Women are first-class citizens everywhere. They're always decision makers. Don't make any mistake about it. We think we make decisions, we do nothing. Unless they fully conform to your decisions, nothing works. So women have always been, make no mistake, they may be, or they were made to be put as secondary decision makers. When at home, it's always them first, okay?
So आकाश, ये जो 100 करोड़ 200 करोड़ के जो ट्रांजैक्शंस होते हैं, ये बायर्स के लिए, ये डील्स क्लोज करने में कितना टाइम लगता है? 1 साल, 2 साल, 6 महीने?
तो आप ये मानेंगे नहीं, बट मैं अपनी टीम्स को भी ये बोलता हूँ, और अब तो काफ़ी एक्सपीरियंस्ड भी हैं. बट कई बार आप ट्रांजैक्शंस जब आप ये देखते हैं, आप सरप्राइज्ड होंगे जो मैं आपको बोलूँगा. बट ट्रांजैक्शंस या तो एक डील में होती हैं, एक मीटिंग में, या मैक्सिमम 21 दिन के अंदर. उसके बियॉन्ड ये ट्रांजैक्शंस जनरली डेफर हो जाती हैं, और या नहीं होती, या आप उसको 1, 2, 3 साल बाद रेफर करते हैं.
सर, पर हुआ एक डील में 100 करोड़ 100 करोड़ का होम
एक डील में नहीं,
एक मीटिंग में
एक मीटिंग में 100 करोड़ का डील क्लोज हुआ। मैं आपको, आप वो तो छोड़ो, एक तो छोड़ो, अभी हमारा डेलिया हो रहा है। हम मार्केट में मुश्किल से 9 हफ्ते में थे, 9 हफ्ते के लिए थे। 25 दिसंबर को हमने अपनी सेल्स बोल के बंद करी कि भाई हम 25 को बंद करेंगे, क्योंकि हमारा मेन लॉन्च अगस्त 25 में आएगा। डेलियाज नया कमिलिया है, नया सुपर लग्जरी प्रोजेक्ट है कंट्री के लिए। 50% ऑफ द पीपल क्लोज्ड इन वन मीटिंग, और वो 70 करोड़ से ऊपर है वो एक ट्रांजैक्शन मिनिमम। तो देखिए, मैं आपको फिर वो बोल रहा हूं, आप सेल्स ना, दुनिया में चाहे आप पेन लेने जाते हो या आप एरोप्लेन लेने जाते हो, सेल्स इज इंपल्सिव। आप एक दुकान में घुसते हो, मैं आपसे पूछता हूं, यू लाइक दिस शर्ट, you love the texture, you love the color. If you don't buy it at that point in time and you walk out of that shop, 90% chances are you will never come back to buy that. So please don't disregard the fundamental of sales. वो impulse जो आपका उस टाइम आता है, अगर आप उस impulse से बाहर आ जाते हो, फिर rationale आ जाता है, and जब आप उसके बारे में सोचने लगते हो, फिर आपको यार अच्छा 100 करोड़ 50 करोड़ अभी बिल्डिंग में उसमें बिजनेस में लगाना था, देन वो 2 करोड़ वहाँ जाएगा फॉर द एजुकेशन, ओके जुलाई में करता हूँ, वो जुलाई कभी नहीं आता।
आपने कहा कि prices have gone up in Gurgaon and it's outperformed most major markets, actually all major markets. Is Gurgaon in a bubble territory according to you?
See, again, that's a question, that's a misnomer, that is a question that a lot of people ask, and I think by now I can say this question जो है, ये especially certain regions specially plant करते हैं, उनको सूट करता है ये बबल वाला क्वेश्चन। वो अपना नहीं देखते। आप मुंबई देख लीजिए, आप अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर देख लीजिए और कंस्ट्रक्शन देख लीजिए, कोई मिसमैच देखिए, बट कोई उसको क्वेश्चन ही नहीं करता। आप कॉस्ट, आप प्राइस पॉइंट्स देख लो कंपेयर टू व्हाट द सोशल एंड अदर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स आर, कोई उसको क्वेश्चन नहीं करता। गुड़गांव is a city that is futuristic. Gurgaon has got a fantastic mix of people, of professionals, business people, NRIs, expatriates. It's got great social infrastructure, restaurants. It's got the best golf course, probably in the top 10 in the world. It's got amazing social other outlets that are coming up. It's got malls. It's got the best of schools in the country today. It's the medical capital of the country. It's got it's building infrastructure which is going to be and it's doing it as we speak for the future. The announcements of the bullet train from Ahmedabad to Manesar in 3.5 hours. Their elevated roads, the Mumbai expressway hits it, the Dwarka expressway, and I can keep going on. So what makes a city? Macro level infrastructure and social infrastructure. These are the only two things that make a city, right? Gurgaon has both. And it is preparing for the future. It is answering all the present questions of the community and for the future. So I feel if you say the bubble, देखिए bubble तो दुनिया में सभी का कभी ना कभी होता है, but ये बहुत बड़ा bubble बनता जा, बहुत expand हो रहा है. The idea is that you have the greens, yet you have the city. You have Gurgaon today is now in that जो आपके golden triangle है. You go to Agra, you go to Jaipur, you go wherever. In literally hours you can get to where you want to get to. You've got phenomenal golf courses, as I said. You've got great leisure facilities. You've got phenomenal hotels. Each hotel is outdoing the other in services. It's the number one destination for expatriates. Delhi is not. Gurgaon is. Okay. It's literally 15-20 minutes away from the airport. It's got a great backup mix for available service staff. Okay. Obviously, there will be, as like any other city, any other growing city in the world, it will have its problems, it will have civic issues, it will have this. But as long as the people own the city, my only point is that today Gurgaon is owned by its people. People who are far more aware environmentally, people who are aware, who've seen the world, and who are making the difference, and they are not going to be taking anything lying down. As long as you have a society that is so conscious, as long as you have a society that is always questioning you, whether us as developers or the government, they have to keep you on your toes.
Do you think Gurgaon home prices can overtake Mumbai? I was doing some numbers. The average per square feet price in Gurgaon is about 26,000 rupees per square feet on carpet. Mumbai is about 31,000. So you are now very close to Mumbai in terms of prices, something which I'm sure even 2 years back was unimaginable. Do you think Gurgaon can beat Mumbai in terms of home prices?
I hate to break the bad news to you, but it already has. So Gurgaon has become the number one real estate by choice. By choice, organically, under the the aspiration of Mumbai prices and all that. Gurgaon has done that and has done it many times now. So it's not an aberration. The demands are genuine, the investments are genuine, investor markets are minimal, retail markets are maximum.
Would you really say the investor markets are minimal in Gurgaon? When I visit Gurgaon, and I get a sense that maybe 60-65% of the buyers for the broader Gurgaon market, I'm not speaking DLF, this is investors / brokers / underwriters, whatever you want to call them, which in a market like Mumbai or Bangalore would be like less than 10%, 20%.
Gurgaon is now, earlier I would agree with you, and if you'd asked me this question say about 7-8 years back, that is what led to a lot of problems also. Not anymore. A lot of these are now, and a lot of builders actually have started to believe and understand this, that look, don't park, don't do all this, because it'll ultimately lead to a certain cash flow issue, because what are you making these tall statements for and for who? In fact, they are sometimes counterproductive. I want to go and say, oh, I'm sold out. If you're sold out, and then what happens next day?
Brokers messaging, I have stock.
Then why would you do that? So play the genuine game, play as much, be as real as you can. And even if it's, the best part about things on these issues are that if you are in the market, and if it takes 2 years to sell, so be it. You don't see what happens in these situations. Everybody wants to join the rat race. Everybody wants to say, oh, I did it on the first day. I did it like this. I did it like that. As far as possible, be your own, do your own, and keep your head down and get your job done.
But have habits really changed? I saw after DLF Arbor, which was the launch that stunned most people, at least I'm talking from the Bombay audience. And after that, I see every tier 2, 3, 4 developer even now announce we are sold out on day one, while there's clearly that's not the reality. So have habits really changed in NCR? I don't see anybody in Mumbai do that.
No, so see, NCR is a different market. People, I hope, again, I can't speak for other people. I'll only speak for DLF. DLF is genuinely, in fact, to counter that, what did we do? In Arbor, our booking amount was 5-10 lakh rupees or 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, something like that, right? In Privana, we took our booking to 50 lakh rupees to make sure that we send a very strong message to the market that we are not looking at fly-by-the-night investors, and we are not looking at making statements for the heck of making statements. So we took it up. We sold out Privana South in no time, and we sold out Privana West in no time. Again, as I say to you for DLF, please understand, and I say this to you on record, we prospect every single day. We've got so much happening in DLF that we don't stop talking to people. We are not prospecting for future projects. We are only talking to our customers. Our existing customer base is so massive and all over the world that we are continuously just keeping in touch with them in various ways. We do our events. But again, I'm saying to you, आप कितनी कहानी दे सकते हो? कितना फैफ कर लोगे?
पर अभी भी faffing बहुत चालू है, because when I went last for one project not very far from your Camellias, when I entered, the quoted price was 35,000 rupees. on super area. When I was in the site, they told me through we can make a broker sit with you. The rate is around 29,000. By the time I left an hour later, the broker had called and told me 24,000. So that's a sort of spread. 90 minutes of a conversation a project told me. So have habits really changed, or should we again watch out for the scenario where many of the players, the lesser known names of Gurgaon, again stumble, create this environment which becomes very corrupt for Gurgaon real estate?
Again, I say to you, I say this with respect, not everybody conforms to the rule. Not everybody learns from others' mistakes. Most of the markets have corrected. Most of the players are now conforming to ground rules. I say that to you. And if somebody does that, I don't know why somebody do that, but if they do it out of sheer desperation, they do it out of sheer thing. Well, you see your opinion about that, they'll never see the light of the day. Okay, so see, there are rules for everything, right? You don't want to follow them, it's your problem. But overall, what I'm saying is there is definitely a change. You cannot take the customer for granted.
I think most of the feedback I get from present customers is that Gurgaon is slowly becoming unaffordable. I get that vibe of Gurgaon in 23-24, what Mumbai was in 2012, 2013. Prices have gone up very high. The sentiment amongst the developer community was, no, it will keep rising, keep rising, keep rising. But that gap between affordability and supply had become so wide that we saw almost a decade of no action and correction. Do you think that could happen for Gurgaon's tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 projects?
Again, Gurgaon with the land banks that people have and the costs of operating in Gurgaon has gone up, which is a fact, okay? So there won't be tier 2, tier 3 and all that. There's a certain cost of operations in Gurgaon, which you'll have to understand. So on one hand, you're talking about the modern futuristic city and this, and on the other hand, if you talk about, money to fund infrastructure, stroke, whatever else, then there is a challenge, right? So Gurgaon it is progressing well. It is providing for all these requirements that they may be, but it is also at the same time, all these things come with the cost. There has to be a cost of upgrading lives, right? So that particular cost is being passed on, but I think not to the extent, so it's not an alarmist thing right now. As long as, okay, let me put it again as a priority. If a person wishes to, it's that amount that you have and you will prioritize where you want to spend it, right? If home becomes and is your priority number one, that it will continue to be that. And I feel that for a long time, it will stay as that.
So you expect prices to remain stable, fall, rise?
Yeah, see, again, that rise and fall is a part of the whole game, okay? But if you think that in life everything continues to, that's not the norm. How can it happen? See, real estate, the good part of real estate is it's like this, okay? It's not always spiraling like that. When it comes down, but you create these ledges. When you create these ledges, then it's easier to manage, right? But again, price rises cannot sustain if the resultant infrastructure is not comparable to, or the aspirations are not met.
Aakash, do you view Noida as competition to Gurgaon?
See, Noida is, again, see, what happens is that when you are, you always need to have alternate options in life, okay? Because if there are people who choose Noida over Gurgaon, then it's their choice, okay? As far as competition is concerned, as long as there's healthy competition always, as long as it keeps us on our toes, there should be. I am a firm believer of good competition. There should always be alternatives, there should always be healthy competition. Once there is good competition, it won't let you get complacent. So, I'm glad Noida is coming up the way it is coming up. And it's got its own choice. People have their choice. I feel Gurgaon is more aspirational, and I hope it remains that way. So, right now, there are two different and distinct choices today.
I've been hearing some real estate NCR marketmen say that it's possible that in the next decade, prices of Noida could overtake that of Gurgaon. Do you think that's a possibility, or this is just brokers, market men going exuberant?
Well, Noida is not being built in that way. It's more built differently. So I don't want to comment on such things, and I feel that Gurgaon has the oomph. It's in the right way. It's attracted the good, profile so far, and as long as you keep providing for that, then they'll have that edge.
But Noida, would you be bullish? Would that be a market that DLF would look at also?
No, DLF will definitely look at Noida at some point in time when we have a good deal, when we have a clean deal. And why not? I mean, if you have a good parcel, we go good. And definitely, in fact, forget DLF coming to Noida. In fact, Noida wants DLF to come also. It's both ways. The love is as strong and both ways. And why not? You expand. We're already in Delhi. We're already, of course, Gurgaon is our hub. And why not? I mean, never say never.
You said about these geographies. The big one is, of course, Mumbai. I'm saying that because I'm maybe from Mumbai, but Mumbai people have a habit of thinking that the world starts and ends with Mumbai. So it's possible that could be a bias playing out. Firstly, DLF has tried to enter Mumbai earlier. In hindsight, do you think that was a wrong call to leave Mumbai when you sold that giant land parcel at Lower Parel to Lodha?
Then the priorities were different. So I don't think, you can go change life. Every time hindsight, you can do a lot of things, do things better. You think you can, right? But at that point in time, priorities are different, and they were different. And I think DLF acted in its best interest at that point in time. I don't think there are any regrets. If there were, or if they are, the only thing is, if you ask me personally, definitely creating something like a DLF in Mumbai for the customers would be something that I feel Mumbai would have definitely encouraged and liked. I feel that is more important because DLF does things their way. There's a certain DLF lifestyle. There's a certain way of that DLF brings in. So again, I feel that Mumbai is a market that could have taken even then, and now I'm sure they'll do that. I hope they embrace us well because it's such a large market for everybody to be there. I don't think that any one external player you can come and disrupt it in the nicer way. And if the customers like your way of functioning, it'll create a certain sense of urgency amongst others as well.
I actually often joke that in the Lower Parel market, the entity that made the most amount of money in the shortest period of time was actually DLF, by buying the land for 700 crores and selling it for 2,800 crores. Now, what's your pulse? You're entering a very hot market would be the wrong word, but a very crowded market in Andheri. What's your thought process? What should Mumbai expect from DLF?
Nothing. Mumbai should just welcome DLF, I feel.
That's not happening. I can tell you that with full confidence, looking at the market. Very few people want to say DLF in Mumbai. Not the buyers.
Who's the very few?
Your competitors.
Again, I mean, I'm not selling to the competitors. I'm selling to the consumers, right? I'm talking about the customers. I feel that the customers ought to have choices, right? Again, as I say to you, we're coming in with a certain amount of thought process, and we'd like to bring in our way of, I'd say, living. We'd like to create a certain amount of, a nice product for whatever category that we are right now into. And if we can do that, as I said, one step at a time. And I feel, I don't know why anybody would feel otherwise, but I think it'll be good for the market in general. even for competition. Why would anybody? I mean, I'm not. You're saying it's already a crowded market in terms of development, right? And yes, it is. So when there is space and place for everybody else, then another person comes in, it should be okay. But as I say to you, let the work speak for itself. I think it'll be good for everybody. I really don't see it otherwise.
What's the big challenge you see of doing business in Mumbai? I can tell you 2 or 3 things that are different from Gurgaon and Mumbai. One big change is here everybody sells on carpet. So one shift is that super built up area in Gurgaon versus carpet in Mumbai.
No, Gurgaon is also carpet now. Post RERA, everything has to be carpet.
That's at the stage of doing the deal, but I'm saying the communication from a broker is always super area. As per my experience,
Yeah, it's changing now.
it's changing now.
Yeah.
The second is delivery timelines. When I hear some of the timelines in Gurgaon of the tier 2, tier 3 developers, 9 years for a 35-floor building, that's unheard of.
Yeah. So earlier, again, I'm saying to you,
Currently, a project about a week back.
yeah, but see again, if it's changed hands, I don't know. I don't know which projects you're referring to. But right now, you can't, again, post RERA, okay, you made some commitments. You can't make a 9-year commitment. I hope not. Okay. You make some realistic commitments and you have to adhere to those commitments. So today, thankfully, there is a governing body which you are accountable to and you're accountable to your customers. So you have to kind of do it that way. And I'm sure some projects, even in Mumbai, get stuck. I'm sure they also take time. I'm sure somebody goes, whatever, under, they change hands. Sometimes it becomes like that, but it's not the norms. It's definitely not the norm.
What would you say is the big challenge for DLF in Mumbai? From the feedback you've got, product, pricing, market environment, local factors, what do you think is a big challenge?
See, the good part about entering new territories is that you're entering into kind of unknown. Okay? What does that do? It's a little bit of a dichotomy. There's a fear, but then you're also fearless. Right? So, I'd rather tend to the fearless kind of a approach where, again, you want to do your best. You want to bring in a good product and you want to make it an inclusive growth model for the brokers, for your customers, for the community at large, and of course for yourself. If you make an inclusive growth model for everybody and you sincerely create a good product. Okay, again, respectfully, I'm not here to change the world. Okay, if there are too many expectations of DLF to come in, this is a joint venture partnership. We are coming in, we're doing something which is thing. So please understand, and this is also not, the category I'm talking about, the thing. So I just feel that today we've got enough happening. Okay, we are extremely excited to come into Mumbai. Please don't take us wrong. But what I'm saying is that you have to leave it to the customer to decide. Please understand that all these things, you're talking about if any time that anybody, again, forget about DLF, anybody is trying to do a new thing. Anybody is trying to be a disruptor in a different way, change norms, change the way you are. Nothing comes easy, okay? But what I have learned in this very little time that I've spent in the real estate business is that please allow the customer to decide what they want and whether they want to endorse you or not. There will be forces, there will be people wanting to bring you down, there will be a lot of stories, there will be every kind of thing is going to be thrown at you. But allow the process to play out. Okay? If you don't do that, then you can be in your cocoon and very happy. Frog in the well is very happy till he gets out, right? So, अभी वो उसी में घूमता रहना है. If you want to just continue to be in your own domain and eventually you'll be overrun.
Okay, So, what sort of a product should I expect in Andheri from DLF?
It's going to be a good product. It's going to be something that has been conceived carefully, and it's going to have good amenities. It's I'd rather we make the formal announcement. Please wait for that. But once we do that, then we'll run through that whole process. But for now, keep that little bit of a mystery alive.
The market chatter is about 7 crores worth of an offering.
Again, let us come to you. It's hopefully, in some time. But I think, again, as I say to you, that again, I hope and I pray and I feel, and we are going to do whatever we are known to do everywhere else that we do in the country. Our name, obviously, is more important to us and has always been, to commercial gains. So we like to do a good job with this. We are taking this market with utmost seriousness and respect, and we hope that again, as I say to you, itni expectations kyun build karni?
It's DLF.
Yeah, but theek hai, it's okay. It's DLF, but yeah, it's also like your Apple phone, na? The next versions come, it'll come. So aisa thodi hai ki my God, it's gonna. Oh wow, yes, definitely. Once you become that kind of a एक बार DLF customer तो बनने दीजिए ना, फिर I can kind of do that for you. But right now it is definitely a DLF thing, and I hope the aspirations are built. I hope the excitement is there. I hope everybody is happy and all that, and we want to make it that way. I mean, the whole story is going to be that. And I said again, as a company, newer markets also challenge you, right? You need to continue to make sure that you are expanding and expanding in the right way. I say this very respectfully to you and to everybody else that, look, beyond a point in time, you don't have to prove yourself continuously to everybody. You've got a legacy. You have to build on your own legacy. You have to make sure that, if you have a customer-centric kind of an approach, then you build on that. You build on a great product for them. You build on whatever else that you are doing. And of course, by doing so, you have to make money, right?
Do you think in Mumbai you could do a project where rates could be 1.5 lakhs, 1.75 lakh rupees per square feet?
Why not? I mean, never say never. Why not? If you have in fact, if you've done something back home in Gurgaon, why would we not do it, replicate it anywhere else where there is a potential for the prices to be what they are, or what you mentioned? Why would you stop at 1.75? Why would you not say 2? Why would you not say more? So I just feel that if you've done it, see, for these things, you have to have the market conducive for, or a certain set of people who will endorse that, right? So if you have again, as I say, you have any luxury brand, where will you place that store? You'll place it in a certain area where you have that kind of a category of people wanting to go and buy, right? You have to make it accessible for them. The same here. So why not?
Do you regret the situation with that plot, which I believe is the best plot of Bombay? The one at Mahalakshmi where you have a golf course view, a race course view and a sea view. I don't think that plot exists anywhere else.
Again, as I said to you,
that in way could have been the Camellias plot of Mumbai.
It could have been a lot of things, we could do a lot of things that way. I mean, but again, that matter is sub judice. I really can't comment on certain things. But as I say to you, that you can keep building these, wishes in thin air or castles in the air and all that. But reality is what you have in hand. See, first build on what you have in hand. Get your present sorted out. Then we'll talk about future. If some things are not meant to be, no matter of the best intentions that you are to do, then you have to swallow that bitter pill and say, okay, you know what? But you have to move on. You cannot, be stuck on something which pulls you down. Because of that one issue, you can't have the entire business built around that. No. Today, DLF is diversified. couple of setbacks here and there don't and shouldn't matter. But yes, ठीक है. It's how you kind of.
Would you like to do a sea-facing plot in Mumbai? And if so, what would Akash's ambition be for that in terms of pricing? That's like golf course view of Gurgaon is equal to sea-facing view in Mumbai.
Yeah. No, it'll be very exciting. In fact,
कितना आपको लगता है रेट मिल सकता है DLF को? In case if Akash was to be very immodest and not be modest and play it down, क्या है आपका ambition? You think इतना तो ले आ सकता हूँ मैं मुंबई जैसे मार्केट में?
अगेन मैं अभी कुछ ऐसी कोई सेंसेशनल आपको चीज़ बता दूँ and everybody in any case gets rattled with all that. But as I said, I'd like to cross that bridge when we come to it. But yes, aspirations will be more than what have been built here. But again, as I said, I think the product will be more supreme than the price. I have never put price in front of the product. I've always said the product and the company first, price to follow. Okay, and I'd maintain that, because that's where I have a number in mind, but then it'll throw all of us.
What's the range you think is attainable?
No, it's anything's attainable. I mean, if
Hong Kong, I think has the highest price of 10 lakhs per square feet. India, we thought 1.5 lakhs was unimaginable. Now it doesn't seem, it's very tough, of course.
See, in this, you were talking about this deal in Gurgaon. It's already about over 2 lakh rupees a square foot already in Gurgaon. So I'd you want to give more impetus to the sea than the golf course. So I've done it in the golf course. Now you put whatever numbers you want to put, because you're Mumbai. You put that number and you tell me that you want this, and hopefully one day we'll achieve it for you. But not me.
लगता है 3 लाख मिल सकता है मुंबई जैसे मार्केट में?
देखो, मार्केट आपको बनाना पड़ता है. मैं फिर आपको कह रहा हूँ कि आप क्यों एक कस्टमर को लिमिट्स बता रहे हो? आप क्यों when everything else is limitless, everything else, you have to see what is priority for that customer. Okay, maybe again it can be the talk of the town, maybe it can be something, maybe it can be the most coveted, maybe it can be the most plush, maybe it can be, so it can be what the customer wants it to be, right? And why would you even put a number to it right now when maybe the potential is there? Today we look at Hong Kong with awe. I said 10 lakh rupees, my God. Space constraints, this issue, that issue. Obviously it has to go vertical, it has to go wherever. They have no choice, right? Mumbai, you can draw a similar parallel, but of course you've got other things and all that. But the limited sites will remain limited, right? And you are building around them. So obviously, why are we not drawing that parallel? आप 3 लाख में क्यों रुक गए? आप 10 लाख क्यों नहीं बोला आपने? Again, that's because we are saying that it can't happen. But at the same time, other things happen. A brand's bag gets sold for 25 lakh rupees. Nobody even bats an eyelid. A bag, 25 lakh rupees, 50 lakh rupees. Are you crazy? But no, उसकी बात नहीं करनी. But that's whatever, because वो तो lakhs में है or thousands में है or whatever. Here, when you talk about crores, my God. Again, it's a relative term. When you put it into the practicality of what the product is, then, we have to compare apples to apples always. But we start comparing apples to melons, that's where the problem begins.
2 of the developers who have appeared on the podcast, when I asked them who's the top developer of India, they said DLF. One was Abhinandan Lodha, and other was Ashish Raheja. The same question to Aakash, if I was to ask him, who's the top developer of India outside of DLF? What would you say and why?
Who's the top developer outside of DLF? I think there are a couple of them. I mean, depends on which region you're talking about.
Any pan-India.
Where you are talking about them. But there are very many right now. I think if you place us there, very grateful for that recognition. But if you're talking about everybody else, then there are, Lodha is doing a great job here. Godrej is doing some stuff. Oberoi's is doing. Prestige is doing, thing. Shobha is doing. So I feel there are all these people who are got their own markets, got their own customer base, they're delivering to their, I'd say, needs. So there are, all these guys are thankfully there. And the more you have listed companies participate in the development, the more you have companies which are far more answerable to the community in general. I feel the accountability pushes them to get better, and both from the product point of view and the service point of view.
Who does Aakash regard as competition? You once said 3-4 months back, I was reading in the article, you said everybody in Mumbai is competition. It gave me sort of like the Shah Rukh Khan answer that my competition is only me. Who makes Aakash not sleep at night? If I was to ask you amongst competition, that uski tarah mere ko kuch
First
karne
of
ka
all,
hai.
I hardly sleep at night. That's another problem to address. Yeah. But again, I say to you, and I say this with great respect, first get your house in order, get whatever else that you want to do. And maybe Shah Rukh said it in his own way because he likes to challenge himself. But he's a film star and people listen to it. How people take it, those statements, I don't know. But when I said that, competition, I meant it with respect. I said, look, everybody who's already here has done or is continuing to do their bit, and they understand this far, far better than we do.
So who's ahead of you, if I was to ask you? That when Aakash sees their product, says, I wish I had done that.
As far as product is concerned, if I can call it the Apple of real estate, we've created our own set of customers, our own people who aspire for us. They love us.
But then you would say that you're the Apple of the real estate industry.
I mean, if you talk
That
about
analogy.
everything in life, you're taking these analogies and all that, you compare yourself with something, right? This is only you're only saying it for when the customer is comparing you with top brands in the world. And why not? You aspire, we all aspire as we were growing up, or even now, we aspire to kind of own certain brands that we want to own, right? You would do that, everybody else would do that. Why are we taking it away from anybody? So if there is a brand that is aspirational in the country and is in the real estate industry, then why are we apologetic about it? All I'm saying is, I don't want to shout out loud. I am not that kind of a company. I don't want unnecessary attention. I don't seek for it. I want to keep my head down, my feet on the ground. I want to continue to deliver based on a certain expectation. That's all I'd leave it to be,
How much of the premium that DLF gets in the real estate market is because of the product, and how much is it because it's DLF? It's become like a status symbol, मैं DLF में रहता हूँ.
So obviously, देखो यार, वो status symbol बनाने के लिए भी 77 years लग गए ना यार. Every 10 years we've innovated. Every 10 years we've created something new. Every 10 years we've done. And we are, the good part about DLF, it's not flamboyant. It's a very practical, very, very pragmatic approach to life. It's so things of people relate to it in every levels, right? But it has become a brand, and it has become a brand thanks to you, thanks to everybody else. People look up to it. The pressures of delivery mount because it's the expectation of the people now that you're. So, it's easier said than done. Oh my God, you're such a big brand. Do you understand the responsibilities of a big brand? You have to be you have to be looking at yourself, like analyzing yourself 360 kind of degree every second. Oh my God, did I do this right? Did I say this right? It's hell of a lot of pressure. So brand आपने बना लिया, आपको endorsement है, आप उस process को enjoy नहीं कर सकते कभी, because you're always being watched. You're always being oh ये कैसे बोल दिया, ये क्या कर दिया, ये तो देखो. And people love to want to take pot shots at you and all. So ठीक है, it's so you get what you get for the brand that you built, and you must, okay? So there is an aspiration. But let me put it this way. In a project in New Gurgaon, when we were launching Privana,
We were going through a certain price stroke.
Okay. And at that point of time, I must tell you, the Dwarka Expressway and everything else that you were talking about earlier was about 20 or 25% more than what we launched at. Imagine. DLF could have launched at even Arbor. We could have launched, we had 4.5 times the subscription in Arbor.
Hand on heart, were you surprised with the response you got for Arbor? That was like the inflection point. I think.
As it started to build up, again I say to everybody, and I say this to the entire real estate industry of the country, you have to be happy of that situation. You have to be, there is something that we do right as a community, as an industry, that we get that kind of a response, right? Everybody must forget about these geographies. The industry, somebody's done what they've done. Why are you poking holes in that? Just enjoy that feeling. Yeah, do it yourself. Okay? But that was the inflection point. That was the change. That was the game changer for the entire country. Arbor was the biggest game changer. Everybody wanted to do thesis. Everybody wanted to audit. Everybody did what they did and realized, my God, this is everything that we said is true. But my point was not that. My point was that when you we are not a company that likes to exploit the market. I could have sold Arbor at 4,000 rupees per square foot more then, and I would have got it. Okay? We didn't.
For all these sales that have happened, one of the biggest beneficiaries, besides, of course, the buyers, are the staff. How much does a typical salesperson at DLF make a day?
Salesperson, they work very hard, boss. They salesperson.
वो तो सब लोग करते हैं पर
जैसा नहीं सब लोग मैं आपको क्वालिफाई कर रहा हूँ. देखिए, weekends they work. There's a family life that they compromise. The DLF, I'm very proud of the DLF sales teams across the country. Please understand, I'd like to dedicate all the wins to them. Our sales team members are making good amount of money. I mean,
कितना बनता होगा?
Apart from the salaries and all, they make anything. Above that, they,
if you see our numbers, a lot of them have made 1 crore plus.
In bonus.
Yeah, just bonus alone. So they've also done well for themselves. It's
Very well, yeah.
It's very, very, very happy to see. As I said to you again, if growth is inclusive, it's sustainable.
Okay, last 2-3 questions, Aakash. What would be the top 4 real estate markets of India in 2035, just when you look at it from a bird's eye view?
What will be, sorry?
The top 4 markets of India in 2035, if you were to put them in order for me. There was once upon a time Mumbai was here, everybody else was here. Now the gap is narrowed. आपके सबसे top 4 markets कौन से होंगे?
Gurgaon.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Ahead of Mumbai also.
Yeah. Gurgaon will be good. See, again, you're talking about 25. We're talking about 10 years from now. Mumbai is a different market, different animal, different story, right? Gurgaon is building its infrastructure, both social as well as the hard infrastructure for the next decade. Why I'm saying Gurgaon will be that is because it's getting ready for the next decade, right? If Mumbai will be again number 1. Okay, I see Bangalore coming up again. They have certain infra issues, but they have a lot of other stuff. The weather is so conducive. The entire IT industry operates out of there. This, that, and the other. So you can't do not discount Bangalore. So I feel definitely these two, 3 cities are going to be, catching up and doing whatever they are doing.
So your order will be Gurgaon, Mumbai, and Bangalore.
As I said to you, based on what work is being today, you're talking about the future, okay? And if Mumbai does better infra, Mumbai will stay ahead of the pack, okay? Because they are ahead of the pack in terms of price points and all that. It's only now that Gurgaon is catching up.
Which would be the one building that Aakash would like to stay in these top 3 cities? Gurgaon mein aap kahan pe, where would you like to stay? I'm sure in Gurgaon you must be staying in the place where you want to stay. But Mumbai and Bangalore, it can't be a DLF project. It can't be a hotel.
Gurgaon, Camellias, and the aspiration in both Mumbai and Bangalore. Why not? Why if today you are asking that question because Okay, I also wear the DLF hat, but let me remove the DLF hat and say I'm also a big aspirant of a DLF property. I mean, why not? So I would definitely want a DLF property in Mumbai, and I'd definitely like to stay in a DLF property in Bangalore. Right now, I'm staying in Gurgaon, so I'm happy where I am. But right now, I have no plans to move to Bangalore and Mumbai.
पर अगर 3-4 महीने के लिए या 1 साल के लिए आकाश ने डिसाइड किया मुझे रहना है मुंबई में, आप
see, अगर 1 साल के लिए रहना है,
which project has impressed Aakash here in Mumbai?
In Mumbai, if you're there and if you don't stay next to the sea, then what's the point, you know? So I'd love to do that, but who's going to pay for the bill? I mean, you'll have to just crowdfund it for me for 1 year. DLF to pay karega nahi कि 1 साल जाके go have a holiday. So, but I'd like to be in one of those.
So like a World Sea face or like a Carter Road or Bandstand?
No, I'm happy with the Bandstand, you know, where, you know, you are there where you are, and, you know, that's a nice place to be, right?
So Aakash would like to stay in Bandra if he's in Mumbai.
I'd like to look at the sea. I'd like to stay where, where you wake up to that. I'd like to. But again, as I said, that those are what you'd like to do. And then you set your goals accordingly.
And Bangalore?
Bangalore, you want to be part of the city. You don't want. I don't want to be out of the city. I like the hustle bustle of the city as well. So I'd like to be in the center of Bangalore. Of course, there's a place close to the golf club, but there's a lot of commercial around it. But I love that place too. So you want to be where the action is.
Thank you, Aakash, for
Thank
coming
you.
on, and all the best.
Thank you for having me here. Enjoyed the conversation, and all the best to you and the teams. Have a great year ahead. Thank you.